Good evening. A Bristol surgeon who's trying to save the lives of children with fatal brain tumours is appealing for nearly £1 million to fund his work. Stephen Gill is using a new method that targets the cancer directly.
Families from across the world are coming to the West for his treatment, but if he's to help others, he needs more money. Madeleine Ware reports.
Gugi Grassolini is 5. He's come to the Bristol Children's Hospital from his home in Italy. Last year, he was diagnosed with a brainstem tumour and given just 9 months to live. Then his parents heard about the pioneering work being done here in the West and paid to bring Gugi over.
It's a death sentence, because there exists nothing but this treatment. And this treatment is something that is giving results. I can do it because I saw my own child. It's very impressive, the results here.
Today, Gugi had his 5th round of chemotherapy, using a revolutionary technique which injects drugs directly into the brain, overcoming the problem of getting past the blood-brain barrier. That's a protective membrane which surrounds the brain and stops anything getting through which the brain doesn't recognise. Gugi's tumour has already reduced significantly.
We are hoping that this treatment will result in a cure, but we cannot be sure about that. But we are very grateful, and we think that this is the future, really.
Gugi's neurosurgeon believes it's the future too, and could potentially save the lives of many children, but he needs £900,000 to run clinical trials first. He's now launched a crowdfunding appeal.
The NHS doesn't fund trials. There are bodies such as the Medical Research Council and the National Institute of Health Research who will fund certain trials, but we have applied for such things, not been successful, because we're competing with diseases such as breast cancer and prostate cancer, and there's a limited resource.
Gugi's family is also helping fundraise. His future is uncertain, but his parents say they now have hope. Hope which could soon be offered to other families in the same heartbreaking position. Madeleine Ware, BBC Points West, Bristol.
Sharon Kane is the chief executive of Funding Neuro, the dedicated charity set up to back Professor Gill's work. Thanks for coming in tonight. How are you going to raise all this money?
Well, we've set up a crowdfunding page to try and raise the money because we need to raise it as quickly as possible. So,
forgive me for being silly, but I don't really know what crowdfunding is.
Okay, so this is when when you ask the general public to basically fund a campaign. Traditionally, it's been used for investment in business, in start-up businesses, and you usually give shares for the investment in the business. Obviously, it's different for us, and what we're giving people is we're giving people perks like, for example, they could have lunch with Professor Gill if they donate £2,500. People can donate £5, or they could fund the whole trial for £900,000 if someone.
That's generous enough.
Absolutely.
Well, there are some nice people out there, but presumably there's no possibility of getting your money back.
No, obviously not.
So
No, this is a donation, so this is where it's different. But obviously, the biggest thing is that they are supporting something that could be life-saving for so many children.
If this is so promising, why is it difficult to get funding from the usual sources?
Well, I think with DIPG brain tumours, they affect relatively few people in relation. So, for example, breast cancer or bowel cancer, they affect a lot of people. In terms of DIPG, it affects relatively few people. But obviously, if it's your child that has a DIPG tumour and you've just been told your child has 9 months to live and there's absolutely nothing to do that you can do about it, obviously you would want some money to be invested in that. But obviously for this system, it isn't just for the brain tumours, because the actual system potentially could be life-saving for all kinds of brain tumours, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, motor neuron disease, MS. So it's not, so whilst it's funding this particular trial, what is learned will benefit all of these other conditions as well.
Are you excited about this?
Really excited, obviously a bit nervous as well, because it's so important. It really is important that we get the money for this. So I would be just kind of, really appealing to everyone out there, whether they've got £5 or £900,000, please help us.
And when do you need the money? When's it all opening and starting?
Well, it started, we launched it yesterday, we went live, just missed it really, and today is the official launch day of the crowdfunding appeal. So we've already had a few donations, and hopefully that will continue this evening and for the next 2 months.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for coming in and telling us about it.
Thank you.
And we stay with fundraising. David mentioned there are some nice people out there, and he's right. A mystery donor has come forward with £1 million to help build a children's hospice in Wiltshire. Last month, we featured the Hollywood actor Robert Downey